Yeah, I mean, my whole life flipped upside down with that one phone call. Hi, my name's Jaylan Evans. I play Skylar Summerhill on My Life with the Walker Boys, only on Netflix, and this is Young Entertainment.
First of all, congratulations on such a huge show. It's kind of surreal, I would imagine. Has this like experience of like getting the role, it being on Netflix, and then seeing the reaction so far? Like it just came out and it's already blowing up on TikTok. Like, what has that been like for you?
It's so cool. I would definitely say this is probably the first work of this caliber and with this accessibility to reach this many people. It's just like beyond my wildest dreams. And, people are reaching out from all over the world, and just knowing that they saw my work and connected with the character is truly awesome. It's been a whirlwind in the best of ways.
Yeah, that is so cool. Have you already seen like fan edits of yourself on socials?
A little bit, just a little, which are really cool. I'm like, how did y'all do this so fast? That's talent right there.
I know. Sometimes it happens so fast. You're like, wait, this is kind of crazy. What was the audition process like for My Life with the Walter Boys? And did you have a chemistry read with anyone?
Yeah, so my audition experience was a little unique in that I originally saw a listing online for Skylar, and I see those often, and I'm like, it's a tough industry. It's like, do I,
Yeah.
am I gonna submit? So most of the time I'll just like swipe by, but for some reason I had something in my gut that I just felt really connected with the character based off the breakdown that I saw. So I texted my manager and I was like, should we submit for this? He pitches me, and eventually I go in for it. I got a call back, producer session. I did not have a chemistry read. My producer session was basically, it served as the screen test, I would imagine. And it was like, by the end of that week, it happened really quickly. By the end of that week, they were like, you need to be in Canada by Sunday to start filming. And I think the phone call happened on a Thursday or Friday. So it was like, I'm pretty sure a Friday, because it was like Saturday I had to go home. My passport was in my hometown in North Carolina. I was living in New York. And then ultimately, like, I think something happened with the flights and I wasn't able to get out to Canada on that Sunday. So I miraculously got 3 extra days at home and left on that Wednesday.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what a whirlwind. So I want to back up and ask you when you got the casting notice on this whatever site it was, because I know exactly what you're talking about. And it can be very daunting, like, oh my gosh, a million people are gonna submit for this. I get these things every day. And it's so funny that you say that because I know exactly what you mean. Like, should I submit for this one? Did it say what it was for when you, or did you just connect with the character breakdown, or did it say it was for a Netflix show?
It did. It said it was for a Netflix show, but as an
Okay.
actor, you get so many of those
Yeah.
and you're so excited for all of them and every opportunity. But I think every actor has their own process of attaching, but not too much attachment, because there is a lot of rejection. There is. You have to have tough skin, thick skin. That's just the name of the game.
Totally.
Everyone's talented. And it has nothing to do with you. You're amazing. You didn't not get the role because you're not good. It just, there's so many numbers. So it did say that it was for a Netflix series. And I forgot to mention this tidbit. It was actually on Twitter, which is now X. But yeah, I was like scrolling on my feed and I saw the breakdown, and it was like Native American, confident, grounded, stylish. I was like, wait, I feel like this was me in high school. Like, I don't know. It just felt really right immediately. Um, and yeah, I guess it was. I guess it turned out to work.
Wow. That's crazy. Okay, and Twitter. So see, scrolling social media is not a waste of time. You might just change your life when you're scrolling.
See.
That's so cool. I love that. Okay, and then you're like, I gotta get home to North Carolina. I gotta get my passport. That's wild. But you made it happen because that's the kind of person that you are. You're like, I need to do this. I need to make it happen. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, my whole life flipped upside down with that one phone call, and it was just awesome. And I loved getting able to go home first before such a big opportunity and connect with my family. I'm such a mama's boy. I come from a family of five, so I have four siblings.
Aw.
And it was just so sweet to cherish that time with them just before I went off to shoot for 5 months in another country. And, you know,
Yeah. What was their reaction? Were they just so excited?
yeah, like, I mean, I've been like the artist and the creative of my family for like my whole life, and I have the best support system. I just do. Like, my family is so loving and so supportive, and I'll never forget, like, I dropped to my knees when my manager and agents called me. They were like, "Can we start calling you Skylar?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I just dropped to my knees and I started sobbing and I was like shaking, and I called my mom and I was like, "Mama, like, I'm gonna be a series regular on Netflix." And she starts screaming and jumping up and down. And then I called each one of my siblings separately. So that was a really special experience to kind of like play it cool and like pull the trigger on them. Um, so yeah.
Oh my goodness. I just got like full body chills. I love that. That is so cool. What a special story.
Thank
That's
you.
so cool. And you deserve it. I'm so excited for you. Were you a fan of Girl Meets World? Did you ever watch that show?
I didn't. I loved Disney Channel,
Oh
but
yeah.
I became like too cool for this. Like, I was in that like teen phase of like, like outgrowing my loves of That's So Raven, Hannah Montana, Bridget of Waverly Place. So I think that show it came as soon as I was like sophomore, junior in high school. And I
Yeah,
think it came with the um, Ant Farms, and they were all great shows. And I still tune in a little,
totally.
but I didn't watch it religiously like the others.
No, I'm with you because that was more like I'm with you on the generational thing. Like we had Boy Meets World, I feel like was ours growing up, right?
Yeah, that's
And
right.
then all the Disney Channel, oh my gosh, the OG of like I feel like that was the OG time of like Raven and Kim Possible and all that fun stuff.
Legends.
Yes. Okay. So when you found out that Corey Fogelmanis, aka Farkle from Girl Meets World, was going to be playing your love interest, and I know you didn't really watch the show, and that's totally okay, but did you have some sort of reaction or like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy, kind of a surreal moment?
Yeah, it was really cool. I When did I find out? Because I was really curious. Once I got cast, I was like, okay, well, who's gonna play Nathan? I think I found out what happened was I was supposed to be in Canada for the in-person table read. But like I said, because they couldn't get my flight out on that Sunday, that table read was happening like Monday or Tuesday, and I came in on Wednesday. So I had to end up being zoomed in for a part of it. And the other cast was there. So that was my first, I guess, impression time meeting Corey virtually. And then of course I went to look up who he was, and I saw that he was on Girl Meets World, and I I mean, the first impression was great. I thought he was a, cute guy and seemed really sweet, and I couldn't wait to work with him. And I'm sure that we both had a lot that we could kind of give each other, because I knew that we had walked two different lives up to
Yeah.
this point.
What did you and Corey do outside of filming to help build your chemistry behind the camera, if anything? And we ask, this seems to be one of the favorite questions amongst our fans. They always want to know like details on the kissing scenes. Like, how does that come about? We know that a lot of actors have intimacy coordinators. Some are like, we don't want that. It's just a kiss, we're friends anyway. It doesn't matter. So,
Right.
what was that like building that chemistry, that on-screen chemistry? And was there anything that you did to prepare for that on-screen kiss?
Let's start off with the chemistry. I
Yeah.
feel like, I mean, at least for me speaking personally and what I gathered from our relationship, I think it was just there instantly.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. I feel like I'm a great guy. And the friendship started out very strong, like from the jump. I will never forget the first time we hung out. It was me, him, and Nikki, who plays Jackie.
Yeah.
And we like went out to eat at some restaurant, and it was just laughs and smiles. Like, my cheeks were hurting so hard from just smiling so much. And then, of course, throughout that summer, the entire cast, we were just hanging out every moment we could, from going on a hike to a hockey game. We went to the Calgary Flames game, lots of restaurants, brunches, nights out, coffee shops, and reading. I mean, just whatever it is to just spend time together and connect and get to know each other, and be in the presence of one another.
Yeah.
And as far as kissing scenes, I will say we did have an intimacy coordinator, which made me feel really comfortable.
Yeah.
Through my training growing up, luckily, I feel like this new generation is um, putting that of a certain importance,
Yeah.
which I think is awesome. So
Mhm.
I had a little bit of my own training too from college that I brought in to those days with Corey and I, and small little exercises of just, standing and being with each other and looking in each other's eyes and connecting. And a certain exercise, like you take the other actor's hands and you put them on your body and you tell them kind of where your boundaries are today, because that can change day to day. Some days you
Yeah.
may not want to be touched on the lower back, but some
Yeah.
days, like, I don't care where you touch me. So just doing small things like that. And Corey was so open and understanding. And I think that collaboration with the intimacy coordinator and then me bringing in some small little tidbits that I know from, shout out Professor Kim Shively from Elon University. She's amazing at what she does. And she really instilled that on me at Elon.
Totally. I remember when I went to New York Film Academy, like film camp when I was younger, one of the things that they would have us do to like build an instant connection to like help chemistry on camera was one of the things kind of that you mentioned, but we were younger, so there wasn't like an intimacy thing going on, but they would have us like grab each other's hands and then
Yeah,
just look into each other's eyes for like 5 minutes, and they would set a timer and you weren't supposed to break eye contact. And I remember like it being really powerful how you can just bond with someone on like a soul level and you can build chemistry without saying anything at all. And I just thought that that was like so beautiful. And anyway,
exactly.
so
Your
yeah,
eyes say a lot. And,
yeah,
that's acting, like that, those eyes, I mean, that's where the connection is.
yeah.
That's where the magic lies. And just opening up and truly connecting with each other and sharing a human experience, a moment together.
So both you and Ellie reminded us of Damien and Janice when they take Katie under their wing in Mean Girls and like explain the school dynamics, that whole thing. Did you feel the same kind of energy around that?
I hadn't thought of it before, but it's spot on. Like, um, yeah,
Totally.
wow, I love that. I love that comparison.
Yeah.
It's really cool to be that for Jackie. Yeah, just so sweet and so special. And I'm just reminiscing right now in my head of those two. They're amazing. They're truly just so special to me. And a little fun fact, Ellie, who plays Grace, our first day, I was like, who's playing Grace? Like, I'm gonna have to have this on-screen relationship of like childhood best friend, and I
Yeah.
have those in real life, and I'm trying to, build that connection with her ASAP. So I need to know who's playing Grace, and I'll never forget the first day I met her was our first day shooting a scene together, and it's actually the scene that's opened. What episode is that? 6, maybe? Yeah, I can't remember. I want to say 6, but it's where we're filling her in the library on Page. That was my first day meeting Ellie. It was also her birthday. And I'll never forget, like, it was like, hi, I'm Ellie. Hi, I'm Jaylan. Hi. Okay, and action. So we didn't have the time to really connect, but the scene was the connection. And
Oh,
I remember thinking in my head, like, oh, this is my girl. Like, I don't know what Melanie did with no chemistry read together or anything, but like, I feel like this is my, what are they, twin flame? Like that's
yeah.
my girl. I mean, it was just crazy. And I felt that way about a lot of people, Jackie, and the whole cast. It just felt so organic and like one big family. And again, coming from a big family, being one of 5, that is a familiar feeling to me. And
Yeah.
so to be there right off the bat was amazing.
That's so cool. Speaking of like being one big family and being all besties, was there any specific memory that you have off camera of something that you guys just went and did that was fun, or like an OMG moment, a funny story, just something that happened like behind the scenes?
I mean, the biggest that I'm thinking of right now, maybe because it was so anticipated, was the Calgary Stampede, which is the world's, I want to say, biggest rodeo. And I had never been to a rodeo. And apparently, Calgary is like the Texas of Canada. And I just embraced it. And we all got like our cowboy and cowgirl gear. And there was like a fair and rides. And of course, the like carnival food and an actual rodeo. And I don't know, to have an experience like that with the cast off screen was really special. And of course, it was the buzz of the town, so we were all excited for it. That's the biggest I could say, probably.
Yeah, and that's so crazy because I imagine that's like in between filming. I bet if you guys all went out now to a rodeo as a cast, you guys would probably get like mobbed by everyone. Like everybody would want photos. They'd probably be like live streaming on TikTok.
My
That'd
God.
probably be a crazy sight to see, is all of you guys together at a rodeo. That sounds so fun.
Yeah, it was a blast. It was.
I love it. So what was the most challenging part of this project for you, if you felt like you came up against challenges? And if so, how did you overcome those?
I feel like in film, because there isn't a live audience, for me, my biggest challenge was just trusting that, like, the work that I'm doing um, is something that I'm comfortable with leaving for the day.
Yeah.
Because I've done some guest stars, but this was my first substantial work on film. And for me, it was like freshman year of learning
Mm,
not only my process for what I need on set and how I need to approach my days to do my best work and feel most comfortable, but also when it comes to the work, just leaving it all on the floor. And
yeah.
um, the challenge was me wanting that audience, that like, okay, like, yeah, I like that scene was just something, some type of, and maybe that's the Aquarius in me, the type A in me. I can be very intellectual and just so, and it reminds me of Skylar and Jackie. I feel like we both relate to our characters in that way. But yeah, I think learning to trust my gut and just,
Mm.
um, yeah, if that, does that make sense?
It makes total sense, because I'm a creator and a performer too, and I know exactly what you mean, how there's certain elements you'll be thrown into where like it's new and you're kind of questioning yourself or doubting yourself. I think that's part of being a creative, because
Yeah.
you love what you do, but you also want it to be fantastic every single time you do it. And so it's kind of like that, wait, am I nailing it? And then I
Mhm.
know what you mean. I grew up doing musical
Mhm.
theater. You get that feedback. And then when you
Mhm.
don't have that, it probably feels a little bit like crickets, or like, right? You're like,
Oh yeah, and you say that's such a funny, like, yeah, exactly. You say a funny line in the theater, the audience dies laughing, and you kind of like, okay, I did the bit, the comedic timing was there, the beat time, like everything was right.
yeah.
You will get crickets on set because they need background to be quiet so we can hear the
Yeah.
series regulars, and you know, it wasn't that your joke wasn't funny. That's just the way this medium works, and so
Yeah.
yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah, and I bet your brain, because you're so used to like getting that live feedback, your brain was probably just like instantly ready for it. And then when you didn't get it, you're probably like, "Oh my gosh, this is so different." So I could imagine that was like such a learning curve, but how cool, because you nailed it and now it's added to your portfolio, and now you don't need the energy, you can hang with the crickets.
Yeah, exactly. You're so sweet. But yeah, you're exactly right. I'll never forget the first time it happened. I had to remind myself, like, no one's here, Jay. Like, just the cast. I'm like, you're not gonna, the joke might have been funny. Skylar, it could have been there. But yeah, I remember thinking in my head that first time, like, ooh, tough crowd. But in reality, there is no crowd.
That's so funny. So, speaking of all this and kind of like learning, as you use the term freshman, and just this being a whole new learning experience, was there any specific actors that you worked with on set that stand out in your mind that you learned things from them, whether like you just kind of picked up from watching, or they, I don't know, worked with you in some way and yeah, and helped in any way?
Yeah. I mean, the veterans, Sarah and Mark, who are, helming our series, were incredible. And I was fortunate enough to work with Sarah for a scene or two. And wow, I mean, it was awesome just to connect with her and just uh feel like what a strong scene is with her. And uh, it was just awesome. And not just those two, the whole cast is talented, and um, I'm gonna learn from everyone, even the newbies, even actors that are green, we can all learn from each other. There's a book called Steal Like an Artist that I read in college. And I love that because that's what it's all about. It's all about emulating people that inspire you,
Mhm.
not being a carbon copy print, but that's what we all do. Still like an artist. Take the good from everyone so that, you know, you can be your best self. And I think another person that really inspired me and I built a great friendship with was Alicia. I mean, wow, she's incredible. Wow. I mean, and it's like after watching the series, it's so special to see it come to life after having getting to know her last summer. And that's my girl. Like all of them are my girls. Like Sky and his I love those girls, but
Oh,
Alicia, she inspires me. And you know, she's done like 10 seasons of Heartland. Um, and yeah, I think she's an incredible person, actress. And I would say I look up to her.
yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I love all of that. And one of my favorite things about doing these interviews is hearing how like close the cast is behind the scenes and how y'all are really a family. So that's so special. I love that. And you can definitely tell, you know, when you're watching the show.
Mhm.
That's why sometimes like I love a good reality TV show, but they get so like mean with each other and nasty sometimes. It's reality TV. I'm like, this is crazy because the contrast to like doing a show like you're doing, a scripted show, and it's like you guys are a family and you're so nice. It's like, come on, reality shows. You need to like have some love for each other too.
Yeah,
It's
true. But
it's
drama
funny.
makes good TV.
It's true, exactly. So it's like, man, I wonder how much of it, you know, is real or fake or whatever on these reality shows.
Yeah.
But so to change,
Between you and I love reality TV. Like, I
yeah,
agree. I'm all for love and light, but
yeah,
I have some guilty pleasure reality TV shows. It's just so like brainless and mindless. You don't have to think. And there's something that I love about, maybe it's because I'm an actor, but I just love watching humans be humans.
uh-huh,
We had an exercise that we did in college where we would have to go to like an airport, like when everyone was going home for Thanksgiving break, and people watch and like write down an entire character for like three people that you see in the airport based off what they're wearing and you know what they're doing and their body language. And reality TV reminds me a lot like that. I feel like I learn a lot from it just as much as watching scripted TV, believe it or not, because it's so cool to see our species naturally be in their element. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I couldn't agree more. And it feels like one big improv kind of when you're watching it, and that's why I love it because you're like, I hope that this is all real. Okay, selfishly, I have to ask you, what are some of your favorite reality TV shows?
Yeah, go for it. I mean, love Drag Race. I love RuPaul. One of my biggest inspirations. The queens that go on there are amazing and inspire me. That was just like such a part of my college experience in the culture. So Drag Race, MTV's The Challenge, Big Brother, Survivor. I'm sure there's others. The
Yeah.
Circle on Netflix, Surviving Paradise. Netflix just released Surviving Paradise. I low-key loved it. It was so dramatic, but I live for that.
Yeah, totally. That's so funny. You know what show I got hooked on recently? Well, I'm so behind. I'm so behind, but it's
Uh-huh.
Vanderpump Rules.
Vanderpump Rules.
You've never seen Vanderpump Rules?
No, what is it?
Oh my God. Okay. This is your homework assignment.
I
Now,
know you're gonna put me on.
just go watch season 10. I accidentally watched it. I was like on a flight and it was one of the only shows. So I was like, I'll just watch it. Love reality TV. And it ended up being like the juiciest drama of like any reality show. I'm like, this is insane. And the season gets crazier as it unfolds. And I guess like you just have to watch it, even if you just watch season 10. And then I think a new season 11 is coming out in February. But if you like drama, it's
Yeah.
about Lisa Vanderpump. She owns all these restaurants in LA and she's
Okay.
like a queen. She's a little bit older, but she's like such a boss babe. And it's about like the drama that all of her employees like get into. Like she has waiters and bartenders. And now since it's 10 seasons in, they've been in the spotlight. So they're all famous now. So there's just like all this crazy drama in LA and they travel and stuff.
Ooh.
So anyway, Vanderpump Rules. That's my
I'm
plug.
I'm checking it out. I'm gonna check it out for sure.
Amazing. Okay, I don't want to keep you too much longer. One last kind of finale question. So it's a two-part question. Team Alex or Team Cole? And since we're at it, Team Conrad or Team Jeremiah?
Awesome. I think for Skylar, mm, I mean, there is a line if we're doing a dramaturgical point of view, there's a line where Skylar's like, you know, with Jackie, I can't believe, you know, the hottest guy in school is still into you after you bombed on him. So maybe Skylar's team Cole. I don't know. I don't know. Alex is a sweet guy too, but I feel like Skylar's above the drama and he doesn't really want to get involved. I
Yes.
know he doesn't want to see Jackie hurt, and he's very focused on his schoolwork and just wants to get out of the small town and chase his dreams. So I don't even know if he's put too much thought into it. As far
Yeah.
as Conrad and Jeremiah, I'm so like, I love everyone.
I know.
Maybe what's the one that's Edward in Twilight? Conrad? Because I like Edward. I've been hearing a lot of comparisons that Conrad's like Edward and Jacob is like Jeremiah.
No way. I
Haven't heard
haven't heard
those?
that, but that is so interesting.
I love Twilight and I'm a huge
Yeah.
Twilight fan and I love Edward. So maybe Conrad?
Oh, I could see that. Oh my gosh, that is so interesting. I love that. Okay, now I'm gonna go like on a deep dive on TikTok and find the Twilight
Yeah,
comparisons. That's so
comparison.
fun. Yeah.
I'm Jaylan Evans. Thank you so much for having me. And don't forget to subscribe to Young Entertainment.